On this episode of Doing the Most, something a little different. My friend Faye from FaeWood Mead sent us a mystery box of ingredients, and we're gonna turn them into mead.
Homemade brews and various how-tos, everything from mead to roast, bake creation, fermentation, inebriation, doing the most.
Last summer, FaeWood Mead and I decided we would do a little collab where we would each drop ship each other a mystery box of ingredients and we'd turn them into mead. So I sent Faye some interesting ingredients and she sent me her own assortment of interesting ingredients. So in this video, you're gonna see me unbox those ingredients, turn them into a mead, and do a little tasting. And also make sure to check out FaeWood Mead's channel, hit that subscribe button, and check out the video of her brewing with ingredients that I sent over. Without further ado, let's get to the unboxing. So I'm here in the Doing the Most studio with a couple of packages that I believe are both from my friend FaeWood Mead that she drop shipped me from Amazon for this collab. I sent her some stuff too. I hope that she has a plan for what I sent her way, and I'm excited to see what she sent our way. So let's get these opened up. Start with the little one. Maybe. These are vanilla beans. Looks like there are 3 of them. Yes, 3 Supreme Planifolia vanilla pods. Vanilla beans from Madagascar. Right, looks like she sent me some bags of air to work with. I'll have to figure, this might be, a secondary edition. I don't know. I'm a little bit afraid it'll blow off in primary. Oh, kidoki. So this is, what? This is a, This is a very large bag of chamomile flowers. Chamomile is tea, right? Oh, interesting. It smells like pops. Gotta have my pops. Cacao nibs. Chamomile and cacao nibs and vanilla. And last but not least, we've got 40 ounces of mid-Atlantic raw and unfiltered honey. It's a light honey. It's really delicate. There's definitely like a fruity little bit of like a juicy berry kind of flavor in there, but nothing really identifiable. I could see doing these in secondary easily. Okay. Couple of curveballs here, but I think I can manage. A couple hours later, I had a plan, and that plan started with boiling some water. While my water was boiling, I seeded and chopped the vanilla beans. I did this so I could expose as much surface area of the vanilla as possible, and that vanilla went right into the bag of cacao nibs. My hope was that I could infuse the cacao nibs with the vanilla flavor, but as you'll see later, that didn't really work out. Once my water came up to a boil, I took it off the heat and I started bochetting 1/3 of the honey that Faye sent me. I just wanted a little caramelization note in here, nothing too overwhelming, but just a little something of intrigue in the background of the honey profile. Then I got a brew bag out and stuffed that into the hot water, and in determining how much chamomile tea I wanted to make, I decided it's really best to, do the most. So I added it all. And I cinched that up and steeped it for about 15 minutes. Smush, smush, smush. I let that honey get a couple of shades darker before I decided to go ahead and pull the bochet. Then I pulled the giant bag of chamomile flowers out and pressed as much of the liquid out as I could get, and then added that directly to my hot honey. Then I put in another 1/3 of the honey, just raw, right into that warm liquid. And then I just stirred to combine, and stirring in that bochet honey sometimes takes a little bit of effort because it usually locks up a little bit when the water hits it. That's okay. You're gonna stir, 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 and eventually it'll mix right in. After that had time to cool for a little while, I prepared a sanitized carboy funnel and then poured it right on in. And I topped it off with that little bit of remaining chamomile tea. There was still a little bit of space in there, so I added more spring water. Got a gravity reading and we were at about 1.063. I used K1V1116 here. It's a yeast that does well to preserve floral flavors, and I figured what better yeast to go into something that was flavored with basically all the flower petals. So I added the whole packet, and just a few hours later it was already foaming. After a few weeks it had gone completely dry at 1.000, so I racked it off, added some stabilizers, and a few days later it was time to add the cacao nibs and vanilla beans. Now, like I said, the cacao nibs didn't really infuse with the vanilla flavor, so I had to take a different route, and I decided what I would do is try and add some subtle cocoa and some subtle vanilla. So I blended that all up into a fine powder using our Vitamix blender. There will be a link in the description if you'd like to pick one of those up. Once I had all of that in a jar, I added a couple of tablespoons of that to the mead. And also I wanted to back sweeten, so I added the last third of that honey. So I used the entire container of honey that Faye sent me. Stir, 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 and I put that back under an airlock. A couple months later, it was time to get that into bottles so I could ship one out. This made 8 12-ounce bottles. And there we have it. For the tasting of this FaeWood Mead, I decided to bring in some reinforcements.
I don't know why I saw that in like old script being written on a page. Like,
yeah,
for the tasting of this mead.
For the tasting
I brought
of
in.
this mead. So she told me that she hit you up for advice on ingredients.
I remember she did. Now, I don't know what I said. I have not thought about that conversation in a long time because I honestly was just like throwing like ideas out, and I was like, I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad. Like,
I believe the contributions you made were the vanilla and the cacao nibs.
Oh,
that ended up in here.
Okay.
So the ingredients she shipped me were wildflower honey, those two ingredients, and a giant bag of chamomile. Like an enormous bag of chamomile.
Interesting.
It turned out really interesting.
Yeah.
The chamomile, I will warn you, is very forward. Very forward. But you know what you're tasting in here. Our goal is really to talk about what we think.
Looks good.
How it came out, etc., etc.
Nice and clear. Like the color.
Mm-hmm. It's had some time to clear because I brewed it in the summer.
You're right. It's very chamomile, sweet floral.
Big florals. Almost
Yeah.
makes me think that like a little bit of a cheat on a traditional mead might be to put a little chamomile in there.
Oh man, this is so floral.
Oh man, those big florals from this honey.
You really get that Walmart honey really made it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it smells really good.
I haven't done much with chamomile tea in brewing in general.
I don't think I've ever even had chamomile tea before making this.
It's weird. The chocolate is like way at the end. Like it's not. You don't get it on the front. It's after a while. It kind of that roastiness is just kind of like lingering. Well, maybe that was just the first. Oh, it's like not smoky. It's got the. It's dark, which is weird. I mean, it's the cacao nib side. You said you bochet, right?
A third of the honey was bochet.
You do get a little of that caramel
Just a
note.
touch. Just a touch.
The vanilla and the chamomile are like, I feel like they're in the same vein. I'm having a little hard time like saying this is specific. Like they have that same idea, but it's good. I like the balance you've achieved here. Because those ingredients themselves are kind of odd.
Yeah, the acid in here is interesting because I didn't do anything acidity-wise, but there is definitely some tartness. It works really well in here because it kind of takes some of the edge off of those big deep flavors.
Yeah, this is a bit of a roller coaster because it's like sweet floral, and then it kind of comes down, and you get more of these medium sweet, like that vanilla note kind of in there, and then it kind of trails off, and you get this lingering chocolate. It's a little interesting. It's a lot of this, but it's not a bad thing. It's like good all the way through.
It's definitely very smooth.
Yeah.
There's no alcohol bite. Now this was lower. I think it was like 1.063. So it was a lower ABV when I got into it, but
still, I mean, that's still 7-8%. You know, and in wrong circumstances, that could be hot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
You know, the whole concept of getting on Amazon and spending $60 on ingredients that someone else has to brew with was a lot of fun for me on the shopping side, really. Make sure you check out FaeWood Mead's channel. She brewed the thing with the ingredients that I sent her, and then I understand she's got some footage from our Zoom where she and I tasted them together.
Ooh.
That's going to be tacked on to the end of the video. So go over to her channel, check it out, subscribe to her. We're big fans.
Yes, absolutely.
She's great.
Endorse her.
She's great. And thank you for watching. You know where to find him, I'm sure, but if not, check out the links in the description to find Made Mead. He's on YouTube.
Every once in a while, I'll post a video.
Instagram, every once in a while. Well, thank you for tasting this. Thank you for providing input.
Thanks for
in
sharing.
the process.
This is good. It's very
weird.
reminiscent of a Can It Be a Mead to me. Like there's feels a little bit like that. The wheel was spun, but it worked out well.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. There are definitely things I would improve, but overall, for a first go, with an enormous bag of chamomile dumped directly in, I'm pretty proud of it. Until next time, cheers, do the most, happy brewing.